Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris in our Roma Galactica series. Just a quick ship change, and then we are going to dive straight into preparing in earnest over the next episode or two to attack the enigmatic fortress. And we have plenty of naval capacity to do it. We need to trade in some of our energy for minerals in order to really build up our fleet faster, but we're going to get there sooner than later. But the very first thing I want to do, and this is worth sitting and talking about for like 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, but you know, I've gotten a lot of great feedback over this series about how to use the auto upgrader. And for those of you who are newer to Stellaris than me, I've had a whole bunch of people say that they have gotten kind of keyed in, turned on to Stellaris because of this series and because of other Let's Plays since Utopia came out. And I'm really glad to hear that you're enjoying the game. So if you're still learning the ship designer like I am, one thing that I have realized about the auto upgrade option is that very conveniently, it's not going to change the actual allocations of device types that you set up. It will upgrade them for you to the next level when new tech comes out, but it will not change what you put on your ships, even if something is not fully upgraded. So someone pointed out to me, hey, one of your cruisers still has level 3 shields. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. It should auto upgrade. And then I looked and I realized this is why. I actually don't have enough power slots set up to get enough power basically to upgrade to level 4 shield. So what I'm going to do actually is replace this medium armor. I don't want to replace a large armor. I'd rather have that large armor in place, but we're going to replace this with a 0-point reactor. And now this should enable us to upgrade to level 4 shields, hopefully. Yes. Okay, we have plenty of extra energy now at that point. Actually, that kind of makes me think maybe let's shift our 0-point reactors to these slots. No, that's not going to work. Okay, well, we tried. I was going to try and maybe get a large armor out of the deal and ultimately have a ship that was a little bit better defended, but oh well. All right, so that's that. Now, we have just so many minerals. And another thing I need to check on, I haven't in a few episodes looked at the, not species, I need to look at contacts. F2, thank you. So we just want to look at other for now. I don't know that we're still getting our bonus from the curators. We're probably not. I haven't looked, yeah, we're not. So let's see if we can go ahead and buy this. Yep, we can purchase it, so let's do that. And now we're getting a bit of a research boost again. Shame we let that lapse, but we've just had a lot going on. And then also, let's go back to our contacts and pay a visit to these guys. Make sure we are still trading for strategic resources, which looks like we are not. Let's buy crystals. And then from Zuracorp. Yeah, see this is one of the issues with the current version of Stellaris, is they don't actually, they will renew sometimes. The enclaves, that's the word I was looking for, will message you and they'll be like, hey, you know, do you want to continue this deal? Those literally the words that they use. Hey, do you want to keep going? But it doesn't perpetually do it. Sometimes, more often than not, as a matter of fact, you'll find that you have to go in and manually re-up it yourself. So let's go ahead and get the Zuragel. And then that's good. And then the last thing I want to do, notice we still have plenty of money. I keep doing this. I'm closing the contact screen and then I'm trying to click around for it instead of just hitting F2 like a sane person. So the last thing I want to do is actually go back to, it doesn't matter which trader enclave we do this with, but I want to go ahead and trade for minerals because we're going to be building lots of ships. So let's trade down to about, yeah, 6,000 is, well, let's do one more. Now we got 4,000 and 5,000 respectively. That'll give us a little bit more ability to build up our fleets this episode. Now, Classis Ravenus is at Earth, so any ships we build at Earth or near Earth will go there. Classis Missinensis is at Baltris Continentum, which is actually a good bit away from Sol. So for the purposes of building ships, if I were to set up a rally point at Baltris Continentum, which I'm actually going to do, and also I'm going to go ahead and disable this rally point at Illustrata. But one thing that I also will do on that note, and the reason I'm disabling it, I'll show you. In Stellaris, I didn't know this, because I do this all the time. Well, I knew this, but I just haven't used it in a while. In Stellaris, there's... Oh, I just realized something about my, my desktop. What's going on here? There we go. All right. So in Stellaris, you can hit Control F or Control 1 to just to do control groups, the same as just about any other space strategy game that you can play, or strategy games in general. I've been doing this in StarCraft. Because it's a grand strategy game and because there's so much more to it, my mind doesn't always think in terms of those really basic elements of gameplay. So now we can just hit 2 anytime we want and go straight to Illustrata. Same way we can hit 1, and the hotkeys are all displayed down here. So I appreciate the person that reminded me of that, because that's honestly something that I just don't readily think about when I'm playing Stellaris, because it's such a different type of strategy game than those I played in the past. Again, I play Sins of a Solar Empire, or at least I used to all the time, and control groups are the thing. Like, you have a bunch of different fleets under a bunch of different control groups, and you go from that. So I hit control 2 on Illustrata, and now we can just go there anytime we want. But anyway, so we've got a rally point set up near our 2 ships. So basically anything we queue up in these surrounding colony worlds will go to the closest world. So anything in Abskyke and Core, perhaps. And I think we've built up these completely. No, we actually haven't. Hang on. We've got some influence. We could probably build some fleet academies, to tell you the truth. And this would be really handy for any ships that we build in the area. You know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Because one thing we're going to be doing over the next... Oh, actually, you know what? Let's cancel that and do one actually at Baltris. So one thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be building up our ships. Let's go ahead and unpause the game a bit. We're going to be building up our fleets, but at the same time, oh nice, our energy development researchers have made progress. Don't we already have this, though? So we have a new modifier for extra energy credits on top of one I think that we already had. Let's take a second, and I'll go back to telling you about what we're going to do. Okay, we actually have 2 5% energy credit bonuses now, which is nice. And you can see that we have the Curator Insight bonus, but again, it doesn't do a good job of telling you that you have new options. So we're going to focus on building up our fleets, and at the same time, we're going to let our influence just kind of stack, because we're getting a ridiculous amount of influence at the moment, and I want to keep that going so that when we're done with the Enigmatic Fortress chain, we can focus on maybe, colonizing a bunch more worlds at once. And I'll try while I can. I just don't want to multitask too much, because I'll end up having episodes where nothing much happens. We need to... I do want to try to keep, colonizing up that direction. So, we've got Classis Ravenus. Classis Missinensis has, let's see, 5. So we've got our battleships with a full complement, cruisers with a full complement, and then 10 Justinian-class destroyers. So Classis Missinensis, again, is at Baltris. We probably need to go ahead and get some Tiberius-class destroyers queued up in the area of Baltris. So let's go ahead and queue up 5 at Baltris itself. And... oh, wait, no, not Baltris. No. We're at Baltris Continentum. There we go. So this is our new colony in Baltris. So yeah, let's go with 5 destroyers at Baltris Glacius, or Baltis Continentum. Glacius is that world. So ironically, this is our more advanced colony. It's a moon, and a more developed world even, of this glacial world that we've more recently colonized. All right, so there's that, and then I think we were queuing something up in Core, so we can go ahead and build the other 5 there. And they will automatically rally with Classis Missinensis. And then we do need to go ahead and queue up our new corvettes as soon as possible. Let's see, are there any other bonuses that I want to build, like assembly yards? I'll think about that later. For now, let's see, we've got, what other cities or colonies do we have in the area? We've got the Core colony, Core Oceanum. We've already queued those destroyers up there. Once this upgrade is done, actually we do need to upgrade this rather extensively. Let's go ahead and do this. And then, yeah, we'll queue up some of our corvettes here. Engineering Bay. I don't really want a crew quarters on this planet, because this is not going to be a world where they're all hanging out. I wish I could build a fleet academy here. I can't, and I kind of want to limit my... honestly, I want to limit my shipbuilding to worlds where I have a fleet academy in orbit, because they get those permanent modifiers. It's just so much better. Alright, well, tell you what, let's go ahead and just queue up, since corvettes don't take as long to build. Alright, so this already has a queued construction slot. Let's go for corvette assembly yards on these 2 worlds. I want to make sure they come out plenty quick after these destroyers are done. And then we actually don't have a lot of money to queue up corvettes yet, so let's let some time go by while those destroyers are building. Again, the Enigmatic Fortress is right here. We haven't had a problem with the technocracy in a long time. Some people have been saying, you know, maybe don't attack them so soon. You know, they're a nice buffer against the Polismus Order, but as silly as this rationale sounds, one of the things I really like about our current situation is that we control all the way up to the base of this galactic arm, and they're in our way. This is our galactic arm. We started out here, and they are our nearest neighbors. It's mine. Damn it, I want that arm. Let's go to the next speed. We're going to have our next tradition in about 10 years. No, not 10 years, 5 years, sorry. System survey complete. Another thing that I want to acknowledge is I know, and I've talked about this in the comments with a few people over the past 24, 48 hours as of the moment you guys are watching this. I know that over the past couple of episodes, I missed a good deal of trade announcemements. Again, my recording schedule right now is really hectic, so you know I'm a little bit more scattered when I'm recording than I normally like to be. But I will make an effort. The voiceover is pretty quiet in my ear, so it can be tough for me to listen for it. But if I can just make an extra effort to listen for like the notification of, say, a trade deal, then I'll probably do what I can to. I'll hopefully be able to turn that around and ignore less trade deals, because I know that that's been happening. I don't think it's really hurt us that much, but in the long run, it's not a good thing. So edict duration would improve by 10% here. This would give us access to the orbital mind control laser, which really helps with planets that are going to rebel against you. And it's a rare technology, so it might not come up again for a while. This is climate restoration, which will allow us to terraform Mars. So yeah, we're going to go for that technology, obviously. And another thing that I want to do while I'm thinking about it, let's bring you home for an upgrade, and then you can resume your auto exploration. We're going to actually have all of our current science ships that are out exploring come home for upgrades, because they're using old school technology. They've been away for a while. Interesting. Ancient drones awakening. The drones woke from their slumber and descended to the surface of Hojaka Montum. Attempts to communicate were met with polite dismissal as they set about terraforming a small area of the planet. We do not know the nature of whatever ancient directive they're executing, but it does not seem detrimental to the colony. Well, as long as their activities benefit us. So this is our new colony here. And we have several other worlds that we need to colonize along this new chain. Oh, check this out. That's going to be an awesome system. So we still have some exploring to do. And again, we're currently sending most of our science ships back to get upgrades. So it's going to be a little bit slow on exploration this episode, but let's speed up to speed 3. We're just waiting for ships to build, really. We have 436 extra Unity now at this point, which is quite nice. Let's take a quick look and see what we might be able to upgrade now that we have a little bit more money. We did this numerous times last episode, but it's important to stay on it, especially for the purposes of extra Unity. So now Core Oceanum has the Hypercoms form, which is a Unity output modifier of 10%. So that's the one that I underestimated big time. I thought the Hypercoms forum was a unique building. You can only build it once. Again, new Utopia mechanics. Still learning them. And this requires a planetary capital. So we need 10 pops before we can upgrade this one, but we're going to be able to do more here before long. And then, of course, we do have some tiles here where we can build Unity buildings on that world. Let's keep the game going. All right, so it looks like system survey complete. All right, these ships are pretty much ready to go. We're probably going to aim for about a 40K. All right, what do we got? We got a trade deal offer. Active sensor link and active sensor link with the Tendrakians. I don't know. Do we want to go for an active sensor link with them? Do we want to show them everything? I kind of want to say no to this, honestly. Like, they've been our adversaries, kind of. Yes, we haven't fought against them for a while, and we've been getting some stuff from them, like the research deals, but I just don't feel good about it. Now, are we currently researching with them still? I think we should be. Okay, apparently we need to renew this. Let's go ahead and transfer them energy credits. Do an instant transfer of 200. Confirm. All right, so that offers away. Let's see who else we can trade with. The Quatilium State, I believe, was another one we could do a research agreement with. Offer trade deal. Yeah, these have all apparently expired, interestingly enough. Now, I might be able to get it with the, the opinion set at 0, but I like to just tip it in favor a little bit. All right, so confirm. And then there was one more. If we can just get 3 of these. Yeah, you guys We could form a non-aggression pact with them. Let's do that. So that will improve their trust of us. Let's let that be sent. All right, the Tendrakians have accepted it. Okay, so now we've got a pact of non-aggression. Love this track so much. And let's go ahead and try for that research agreement now. Things were pretty good. Oh, nice. We might actually be able to do this now. Let's see. If we can get that third research agreement this episode, that would be fantastic. Okay, they don't want money. How about minerals? Minerals are more their language. Unfortunately, this is most of my minerals, but we can get more. We're gaining plenty per turn. So this is worth it. Let's go ahead and do this. This will get us some additional influence. Okay. And of course, our relationship with them is going to continue to improve. So let's now look at our faction game a little bit. We'll let the game run for a few turns so that influence bonuses can catch up. And let's see how that helped. All right, so we've got a good amount of, happiness coming from this medium-sized faction. It's actually our second largest faction. No, third largest. The Alien Aid Trust is the third. Whoa, how did you get so big? All right, so they want no purge policy. Okay, they want Enclaves Incorporated, foreign ties. Committee of Sacred Traditions is, of course, very unhappy. They've been unhappy for a while. Galactic Emancipation League, Reproductive Freedoms. Yeah, so this is not a happy faction, but they're also not a very big faction. So here we go. We don't have Strategic Resource Dominion yet. We need 10 strategic resources, and right now we have 8. Back to factions. Academy of Research Efficiency. Yeah, this faction is... They're not giving us a ton of influence because they're not our largest faction, but now we are at the maximum possible happiness with the Academy of Research Efficiency. Not bad. And what is dragging down our influence, pray tell? Defensive pacts? Oh, forming the defensive pact actually... Damn, I didn't realize that. Well, we'll let that run its course. Totally forgot that that was a negative to influence. Oh well. Well, we're still getting +4, so that's going to build up a lot while we're building up our ships here. This construction ship is not doing anything. Why? Go get your upgrades done, and then we'll give you some orders. Ships, how we doing? Classis Ravenus... We've got some money in the bank. Let's let things keep building up, though, because we need more. We just paid off a good amount for our latest trade deal, specifically research agreement. Still checking to see if we can do any upgrades. Not just yet. Reaching for past skies, so now they are building the inconvenient space elevator. The old drones fitfully dormant on Hojaka Montum's moon have become active again, and their work is a mixed blessing. Under the cover of night and spotty airspace surveillance, they have erected the framework of some gigantic structure a short distance away from our primary settlement on Hojaka Montum. Our engineers are convinced it is the realization of some outmoded concept known as a space elevator, perhaps a common sight in the times before we human first took to the stars. Humans? It will eventually have to be raised as it stands in the way of our expansion plans for the colony, and bringing it down safely will take some time. At least our engineers are giddy with excitement about the prospect of studying the thing up close. Now, just to be fair, as much as I tend to point out, little errors in these tooltips and these story descriptions and blurbs, this is actually probably due to my customization efforts. When you determine what the plurals are for your species, you have to be very specific, and it kind of brings those in linguistic context. And so in this case, it might be kind of a mismatch. But so for once, I just want to point out we got some engineering research from that, which is quite nice. We're almost done with our high-level afterburners. We are 8 months away from climate restoration. So we're going to start terraforming Mars this episode, guys. It's going to happen. Finally. Mars is going to be ours. All right, so we have some ships arriving, and we are building up resources as well. Construction ship, you need to upgrade as well. So go ahead and take care of that. Thankfully, you can upgrade at Hithram. How are our spaceports doing? Pretty good. All right, we need a new research project there. But first, let's go ahead and do... You know what? Yeah, let's do a fleet academy here. I was talking about that before. And let's let Baltris Glacius be a battleship and cruiser assembly yard. All right, advanced afterburners have been researched. What do we have? Devastator torpedoes, kinetic battery, strike craft attack speed. I like that idea. All right, let's go ahead and upgrade to the next version of the Giga Cannon. We may possibly, I don't know, that's a long, okay, 74 months. That's a good ways away. We may get to that before we get to the Enigmatic Fortress, like right before. And if that's the case, that's great because our long-range weapons, from what I've seen, are actually going to help us fight that a lot. There is significant scoring on the surface of this world. Excellent.
Construction complete.
All right, so Baltris is doing those upgrades. What do we got? Defensive Pact Invitation. I'm going to say no, because I don't want to lose more influence.
Construction complete. Ships upgraded.
All right, so this construction ship is upgraded and needs more assignments. Which construction ships are taking care of this area? So it looks like these systems here haven't been touched. So why don't you work on that then? And I think, like right around here, yeah, in Chiblar, there is a new primitive life form. And yes, by the way, I know I've got lots of primitives that might be uplifted in my territory, and I'll probably find more as I continue to expand up here. Again, we want to make sure we keep the pressure on here as much as we're trying to focus on the Enigmatic Fortress. Nice. Climate restoration research is done. Ooh. Leader enhancement selected lineages. This is a policy that we'd have to have in place, so it would affect our... It would affect, unfortunately, our influence if we were running it, but it helps our leaders, researchers, governors, what have you, level up a lot faster. I'm kind of tempted to go for that. Cheaper war demands I'm also tempted to go for. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that next, just because we could be at war sooner than we think, and we want to have that prepared to where we can basically have more leverage over enemies as we fight them. What do we have here? General Russell Brockbank has died. So this is one of our generals that was in charge of these worlds. Now, we actually have a lot of armies on these planets that I'm not going to look at right now, but I'm just making a mental note for later. We may need to kind of reevaluate our army and garrison situation on those worlds. This construction ship is idle. What do you have? Let's go ahead and turn off details map mode. Makes it a little bit easier to see where I have definite opportunities. Also, we have some worlds we could colonize right now if I set my mind to it. But, all right, so all those have been set up. Not so much out on that outer rim, though. There's a few systems here that need to be researched, so let's work on that. It looks like you're working on those as we speak, so tell you what, when you're done with what you're doing, you go ahead and get your upgrades done. Okay, Classis Missinensis has 50 destroyers now. It's actually not showing me all of the destroyers that I have, so that's kind of unfortunate. See, right here, I mean, if this could scroll over, yeah, I can't actually see all the ships I have. So I know I have more destroyers in this because there's 50 in the fleet, and it's only showing 10 Justinian-class destroyers. So what's going on there? Why are there so many? There are a ton of Tiberius-class destroyers. Why is that? That seems like more than... Did I mean for... Okay, so we might need to send some of these ships to Classis Ravenna. So let's take a look at this real quick. You just have 10 Justinian class. Okay, these ships actually have a lot more destroyers than I gave them credit for. Or these fleets do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so this is 10 Tiberius class and more than 10 Justinian class. Okay, that's what threw me off. I've been trusting this, and this actually doesn't show you past your first 5 ship types. Good to know. That's really, really misleading. We need more battleships for this fleet as well, but I need to break off these destroyers as much as possible. So, tell you what, let's go ahead and... We're not going to split a fleet, but we are going to create a new fleet. And then let's go ahead and... We've got a bunch of Justinian-class destroyers. So let's just start by transferring 10 out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 10 Justinian class, which leaves, it should leave 10 in this fleet. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, so the first strike force here, this is 10 destroyers. I want to have you join Classis Ravenna. Just want to make sure I wasn't joining them back to the same fleet I just separated them from. All right, so now they should head off in another direction. Spontaneous generosity. After waking up yet again, the drones briefly disappeared from sensors. When they returned, it was with a large cache of minerals pause game of unknown origin in tow. They dumped it on the surface of Hojaka Montum after sending a badly corrupted burst transmission indicating they had fulfilled a requisition request. Then they went back to the moon. Free minerals, no complaints. All right, so there's still a lot of destroyers in this fleet as well. So no matter what we do, did I just recombine them? Did I do what I said I didn't want to do? I think I did. Holy crap, you've got to be kidding me. All right. It is harder than you might think to tell where things are in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I did. All right, so let's go ahead and fix that again. That's easily fixed. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now, yeah, you are with, what is this, Classis Ravenus? Yeah, so you need to go to Classis Missinensis, which is interesting because they're the ones that already have 50 destroyers. So I almost feel like, because I was trusting that particular section of the fleet layout, this is just a major bungle. Now I'm super annoyed. We've got 50 destroyers, and it's hard to even tell what class they are because I have to scroll down the list. So this is kind of frustrating. We've got a bunch of Tiberius class here, like a ridiculous amount of Tiberius class. Again, this is the world near Baltras. So this seems like, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then with the Garm is 21. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. You have got to be kidding me. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Wow. All right, so you, my friend, man, I really wish that this showed me all the information that I thought it did, because that has really thrown me off. So if you're newer to Stellaris, learn from my mistake, because this is ridiculous. Okay, so now we have the second strike force, which is made up of 20 destroyers, 10 destroyers here, and now that leaves 20 destroyers in Classis Ravenus and 30 in Classis Missinensis. And we have these extra strike forces that may just need to become, these are what, Justinian class, and these are Tiberius class? At least there's diversity of their forces, so tell you what, why don't you guys join up, and then we might eventually make a third fleet out of you. And on that note, we're 28 minutes into this episode, and I've been recording over time a lot, and I need to make sure that I keep this particular session a little bit shorter. I'm going to do a few more before I move on to other things, but I'm going to cut this one here because, frankly, I want to take a few seconds. As I mentioned in my last episode of The Elder King, I don't typically do a lot of stuff off camera in Let's Plays. I like to, do everything in front of you, including my thinking process, including anything that might be edited out by other channels. I think showing the thinking process as long as I make an effort to, describe it and also catch myself when I make mistakes, or don't catch myself when I make mistakes, and then interact with you guys when you catch me. Like, I think that's the most helpful way to do a Let's Play, especially for complicated games like this, because that kind of maximizes everyone's learning process as long as they're watching the series. So I am going to actually pause in between episodes and figure out what's going on with these fleets, because they have a lot more destroyers than I thought they would. I don't have anything more in my queues. Baltras Glacius is building cruiser assembly yards, so I can kind of take a breath and figure out what the hell's going on, but that really threw me off. So we have 20 destroyers here. We probably need to up that to 40. We might end up splitting these between the fleets in a way that works, but I just need to make sure that I'm absolutely ready to do it first. So again, I'm gonna take a second, make sure I know what's going on before I start recording the next one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes, as always, are coming out every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.